Welcome to Watching the Horizon. I'm Jake. I received a comment asking me which state in the U.S. would be good to move to because the one that they were in turns out that the laws weren't friendly for the type of home that they wanted to have. Now, I was already familiar with this question because it was one I asked myself just a couple of years ago when I was looking to get out of Denver. The truth is that everybody's different, and there's no way someone else is going to be able to tell you where the best place to live is going to be. There's just too many factors, and we're all too, individual. We've all got our own thing going on. But I know this is a small channel, and there's only a handful of viewers, which I appreciate all of you. Thank you. And I actually kind of like that it's small. But if you don't mind sharing with me your opinion, I would like to know, sort of, because YouTube kind of casts a wide net. You guys are from everywhere. Where in the world would you prefer to live in a SHTF scenario, and why? I'm just curious. You don't have to get into detail if you don't want to, but I'm just curious what you guys think. But if you haven't already heard of Joel Skousen, he wrote a book called Strategic Relocation. Now, his book is based on the North American continent, Canada and the United States, and he looks at several factors when reviewing the different areas. He looks at geography, population density, resources, politics, corruption, gun laws, homeschooling laws, potential nuclear targets, as well as military presence, and well, frankly, there's a lot more. It's an interesting read and definitely worth looking into as a resource. This is going to help you get your research pointed in the right direction. He uses a 5-star ranking system, which, frankly, I don't put a ton of weight into, only because if that were the case, I think we'd all end up living in Idaho and like Montana or something. We're all too unique. We've got too many personal factors going on that's going to make different regions more appropriate for some of us rather than others. And while I don't care too much for the ranking system, I do believe that the information that it contains is definitely valuable for you making your own decision. Like I said, it's good for at least pointing you in the right direction. Now, when researching where I wanted to live, I needed to consider my motivation. Why are you looking to move? Are you looking just for a change of lifestyle? Are you looking for a bug-out retreat in the event of an SHTF? Or are you looking to, quit city life and go start a farm? Doesn't matter. The why is important because it's going to help you narrow down where you look. Now, I first started my research because I was looking for a bug-out location. And, I lived in a big population center, the Denver metro area. And I wanted a place to go in the event of an SHTF scenario because, being right there in Denver, you've got the military base, you've got DIA, you've got Colorado Springs, and then you've got millions of people, living right there. So I was thinking I wanted to go somewhere that was going to be, within a close enough distance that I could get there on foot if I needed to, but also one that was remote enough that, if some sort of SHTF scenario happened, all those millions of people are going to immediately go to the countryside, scouring the hills, for food and resources. And I certainly didn't want anybody accidentally coming across my property. So I had to consider what I was going to rely on this property actually to do for me. And I realized that in the scenarios that I was most concerned with, I was going to need to rely on it potentially for at least a couple of years, maybe longer. For me, this means that I wasn't just looking for a piece of property that I could put a bunker on, but that I needed something that I could live off of, say, food storage for the short term, but then I would be able to then grow my own food, in the long term. Food storage is only going to get you so far before you realize you're going to have such huge storage capacities that it's going to be too expensive and it's just unrealistic. Um, so what I was looking for really, when it came down to it, was going to be a small homestead location, which turns out really kind of narrows down, or at least helps narrow down, where you're going to be able to find that kind of property, at least for me. So maybe for you, if you're just looking for maybe a place to park your RV long term, or maybe you want to be able to camp on your own property, maybe you want to install a state-of-the-art bunker system, complete with hydroelectric power, an air filter, and a computer named Hal. That's cool. But making that determination kind of early on is going to be important, because it's definitely going to determine the direction that you look as far as the type and location of property. So anyway, reading that book is at least going to get you off on the right step. So now, for me, I wanted to be away from all large cities and highways. I wanted a climate that was going to be favorable to a long growing season. It needed to have access to plenty of water. So, like Death Valley for me was out. I wanted lots of trees. I wanted it to be near a forest, for fuel, and then, potential, game possibilities that if I needed to hunt. Although I think that if there really was a situation where there's a scarcity of food, kind of like there was in the Great Depression, we would see a big run on hunting. And back then, if you read the accounts, hunting was difficult. But at least in the short term, I'd like to, have access to that. I think that'd be nice. So needs to have a lot of trees, or near a lot of trees, like a forest. Somewhere the property taxes are low, and where there are no building codes or property restrictions. That's what I was looking for. So once you have narrowed down where you think you'd like to live, there's really no other good way than to just call the individual county, directly for more of those details. Like for me, building codes and property restrictions and that kind of thing, you're not really going to find that in a book. Or if it is in a book, please let me know. I'm interested. But you just have to kind of narrow it down, find a good kind of area that meets your other specifications, and then start looking at individual properties. And then if you think that you found, something that could potentially be there, then call the county that it's in, and then just start asking those types of questions. Realtors are a good resource, but I would always double check the information that a realtor gives you. Always double check. Do your due diligence. So anyway, like I said earlier, I would be interested to hear what you think a good SHTF location would be, and why. So please share. I'd love to hear it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Keep your eyes open.